What is going on, Queen City Reefers? Welcome to another episode here with Queen City Reefs and more. Thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. I'm trying to pump as much content as I can while I can in my moments that I'm not too busy. Right now, my lovely wife over there, is actually making us dinner, and I figured that I would be able to get away without helping by saying that I had some content to record. So thank me later. For now, leave me a like and leave me a comment because I'm doing this for y'all. All right, so what are we doing today? Today, we're actually going to do some fragging. A long time ago, I decided to get this bandsaw, and it's been out. I've actually done some cutting already, but today I wanted to bring y'all along to do so in order to maybe you'll learn a thing or two. I'm not a pro. This will be my third time cutting coral, but it was successful the first two times, so I figured it's not that hard. What are we cutting today? Let me show you the tank that's right behind me here, and I'm gonna show you exactly what we'll be cutting. All right, excuse if the edges look a little blurry. I actually had to put a orange filter lens over the lens here, but it's a little too small, so I think the edges are gonna look a little blurry. From what I see on the camera, it looks fine, so let's just move forward with this. So we will be cutting that pink with yellow tip Goniopora right there. We're gonna then cut this red Goni. We're gonna cut what they call the Golden Road Goniopora. While it was purple stems with yellow tips, it's turned more into black stems with yellow tips, and for some reason or another, I really like that. There's a little bit of green in there too. So it's a very nice coral. We're gonna be cutting that rainbow coral that's lost a lot of color, but it seems to be coming back. So we'll be cutting some of that right there. And we're cutting that Grandmaster Grail Goniopora right there that someone saw on one of my social medias and inquired about it. And of course, you know, at the end of the day, be able to cut this and make a little bit of money from it, because this is one coral that I bought for myself from a show, and it would be nice to have been able to make a little money back, because at the end of the day, all these corals here, the purpose of them is to grow them out, cut them, sell them on the website. All right, so here is this tank in full. So those that have been wondering how the Innovative Marine has been doing, here you go. I sold all the Gen 4s, and these are two of the Gen 5s, which gives enough spread for a tank like this that's all LPS. The goal here, I know that I'm always having different thoughts around this, and the idea now is the following. I am going to be creating a tall scape that slopes down to maybe a third of the tank, and then same on this area, and then the middle will be clear sand bed. So like a little cove, I guess. So I don't know the exact wording for it, but it'll be two large scapes on each side, and then coming down to where here we'll be able to put those corals that look great on the sand, and then on the right side I'll put some Goni and some hammers, and the left side, or vice versa, put some of the torches, and really you know, make this a little bit different than your typical scape. So that's exactly where we're going with that. And now, without further delay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut to the next scene, because we're gonna start cutting some of these corals. All right, so this took a while, but I'm finally here. This right here is what I call my fragging station, which is a corner here in my office / studio. This right here is the Diamond Bandsaw Gryphon XL. I am one to make sure to clean it right after I use it. I don't like seeing the rust build up and all that stuff, so I make sure to always clean this right after I use it. That being said, we're gonna turn this on here in a minute, and we're gonna start fragging some of these corals. I'll talk you through what I'm doing, but honestly, man, there is no science to it. And maybe I have not found that coral that's gonna test me on how I cut it. But so far, if it has a skeleton, it's pretty easy to cut with this saw. And I mean, I don't know what other advice to give you, honestly, just other than giving you a first look at what I do. First thing I'm gonna do, of course, is take this off. One of the most important things here is that there has to be some water here. So what I like to do is I put the sponge where it goes, which is right under this blade, and then the other one goes right here. They both got to get wet. So once you wet them, I place them where they go, and the water that I pour in here has to be salt water, and I just make sure to fill it up until it reaches the top of this sponge. That's pretty much kind of how I gauge it. In here, I'll put a little bit of reef dip from Sea Chem. All this is iodine. So any other iodine from like Brightwell, whatever, will work. The goal is just to get the water a little bit tea-like in color, and the magic that it does is make sure that corals don't get infected. The corals are here, as you can see, and here I'm going to put clean water, and I'm going to pour some of this here so that once I'm done cutting, I'm going to start putting the fragments of those corals inside of this container right here, because it has to bathe for a little while with this reef dip in order to make sure that they don't get infected at the cuts. So this is sort of in a way a disinfectant. And so far it's worked. I mean, I haven't tried not using it and seeing if I still get the same results, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. The pros use, iodine afterwards, and that's exactly what I'll be using. I did find these, and I wanted to kind of bring you along to my thought process. These are, I guess, what they call Aquadomes by Reef Smart. Aquadomes by Reef Smart, and it's pretty much 10 fully cured aragonite aquadomes. What I like to do with these is cut these corals, and the ones that I'm gonna keep to grow out, I'm gonna put on here and let them encrust all over this dome pretty much, versus a frag plug. And then that way it's heavy enough to place it anywhere on the rock and it stay without actually flying anywhere from the flow. These are gonna be used for the ones I'm keeping, and then I'm gonna use frag plugs for the ones that I'm gonna be letting heal and then sell. So that's as close as I can bring you without getting the camera in the way and getting it wet and all that. So we're gonna start with this nice rainbow one. That the reason why I'm cutting it is, if you can see here, there's a lot of skeleton here. This coral suffered for quite some time in my mega matrix because of high nitrates and high phosphate. So I had to move it, and it recovered. It took a while, but it recovered. But you can see how thick now. I don't know if you're able to catch it, that skin is. You don't really see any signs of distress anymore. It seems like it would have encrusted over. But I want to cut it. I'm going to cut it into probably 4 pieces, and then keep one, like I mentioned, and then frag the other ones for sale. All right. Again, this is my 3rd time doing this, so I can already see some people that have experience with this start telling me how to do it in the comments. I do appreciate it, but remember, stay respectful, and I welcome criticism. Just don't be a smart ass, don't be sarcastic. I've seen it, done it, and I've seen it done, I see it done to others, and it really ticks me off when I see a person that just started in the hobby asking questions, and somebody coming back and saying, you should have done your research, you should have gone and searched the comments or searched the forum for this question has been asked so many times. And I'm like, dude, you've been there once already before. You were most likely asking the same questions or whatever. People claim to be perfect when they're not. They have their own demons and they have their own issues, and want to make it seem through social media that they're perfect. Now, I'm going to leave that at that because I don't want to get into it, but I'm definitely here to help, and I definitely appreciate the help. Just be respectful about it. So what I did is pretty much, all the bottom was pretty much dead skeleton. So I decided to just cut that off and leave this top part, and then cut this into frags. Again, I continue to just cut dead skeleton. All right, and here we go. So then I'm left with nothing but the Goniopora, and I'm gonna cut this into frags. All right, so one thing to keep in mind is don't put too much water in this, because you'll have the same issue that I'm having right now, which is this splashing all over my face. But I'd said 4 or 6, and I think honestly 4 will do just fine, because you'll have frags that are a lot larger than your normal frag, right? I definitely don't want to sit here and rob anybody, paying for this frag and it being like 3 or 4 polyps. It's definitely going to be something that, that you'll see a lot of polyps, and you'll be happy to put it in your tank, because you'll see You know, it's not going to be the most largest one because I have to, of course, make money, but it will definitely be worth it. I don't like when I see those small little frags come about, but I'm going to cut more of the skeleton here just to make sure that that more of this area is cut in order to put it on the frag plug and it be closer. I've heard people say that sometimes that's better because it'll help it encrust faster. All right, so that's the rainbow frag that I was able to get into 4 pieces. Now I put it here with the iodine in order to make sure that any of those cuts are disinfected and it has the best chances of survival here. Now this is what's left of that coral. You'll see there's just nothing but, you know, calcium growth here, which is actually pretty cool. So what I like to do with these though is I will take these off and keep this plate because these plates are expensive and there's no reason to really throw this away when you can just reuse it. All right, and that's cutting one-on-one. I'm not a pro. We'll see how they turn out. I'll put them on frag plugs anyways because I still see tissue on there, and cross my fingers they all do well. All right, and that is it. I will definitely bring you back tomorrow when these are open. I'll show you what they look like right now. The lights actually just went off. It's already late, past 9 o'clock most likely. So I'm not gonna be able to show you them under the lights, but you'll get the idea. I mean, they're pretty much closed up. They're definitely stressed out, of course. It's normal. What you want to do now is just make sure you keep an eye on them, make sure your parameters are stable so they can recover from it and then start encrusting. All right, so here you will see a lot of the frags that I cut. You'll see some on this end. You'll see the fragments. Some are bigger than the frag plug itself. Some are not. That was not on purpose. I was just trying to cut as best as I could. And then so once these open up, I will definitely start taking pictures of them and post them on the website. But it gives you an idea of, you know, coral fragging. It's definitely time consuming, but if this is something you enjoy the social part of it, you enjoy the selling part of it, you enjoy the community part of it, then you're definitely going to enjoy fragging corals and, you know, being able to provide some to others. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this episode, please make sure to consider subscribing. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to leave a comment below if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. I will catch you on the next one. All right, I'm gonna have a hard time showing y'all these, but this is gonna be really quickly anyways, just to kind of show the next day. And you'll be able to see, here are my grails, and 2 of them are looking very nicely. The 2 on the left and the 1 on the bottom is not. Then you'll see some of those yellow tip with black stem, the 3 right there, right in the middle sort of. And then you'll see the red ones. And so I wanna say that this most likely was like a 70-75% success. Look, I know that some of y'all do it better, and I am learning. I'm learning how to frag. I'm learning how to, you know, how to do this whole aquaculturing, growing out your own coral in order to be able to provide that coral to the next reefer and make this hobby sustainable, right? So I just wanted to quickly just show you what some of these are looking like. Most of them look really good. Some of them either are going to perish or going to need a longer time to recover. But for the most part, being that I cut various pieces of each, I will at least have a few pieces of each of these gonies, and then some of those other pieces won't. But I definitely will not be posting those until they're fully recovered. I do have someone already on the waiting list for some of these, so I told them that it will be about 2 weeks before I can even determine if I can or cannot sell them. But it's looking good so far, so I don't think there's any issues. I apologize for the glare of this night crew. I have been debating in switching over to the Night Crew Generation 2 that apparently has better spread. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll definitely catch you on the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe. I hope you like this video. Talk to you later.